2 days of testing for World Supersport at Phillip Island have painted a fascinating picture ahead for 2026. 28 riders on track, many for the first time this year, and a host of talking points. Here's the rundown from the island. A clear name has emerged at the top for round one. Jaume Macià completed a perfect 2-day test by topping all 4 sessions in Australia, leaving the final race winner of 2025 as the big favourite to win the opener of 2026. A 1:32.5 was his fastest lap over both days, coming in both the first and last sessions of the test. As of Tuesday, the main challenge to the Valencian rider team duo would appear to come from the Triumphs, who put 3 bikes inside the combined top 6. Ollie Bayliss and last year's Race 2 winner Tom Booth-Amos finished the test in P2 and P3 after a late flurry of laps in a rain-affected FP4, with Andrzej Vostatek the surprise package in 6th. All 3 riders were permanently in the front-running positions across both days. Lost in those late time attacks, but a big threat over the full test was Philipp Ertl, 4th overall and closest to Macià for the majority of the test. In a more general sense, the Ducati seems like the bike to beat at the island, with promising debuts from Mattia Casadei, Alessandro Zaccone, Joshua Watley and Mattia Ferrari, all within the top 10 at different points of the 2 days. Last year's title and manufacturers winners Yamaha had a slower start to the week, very much in line with last year's pre-round 1 test, which ended in a race 1 win. Can Öncü was the leading rider on an R9 after the first 3 sessions, but Lucas Mayas' late lap placed him as the sole Yamaha rider inside the top 5 at the end of Tuesday. Teammate Roberto Garcia also featured prominently in higher positions. And then there's ZX Moto, perhaps the biggest unknown quantity coming into 2026. Led by the world title winning Evan Bro's team, the Chinese manufacturer's test began with technical issues stalling both Valentin Debis and Federico Caricasulo in the opening minutes of day 1. But once they got going, the 820RR hit the ground running, with Debis setting a top 5 lap midway through day 2, and the promise of even bigger things to come. P10 after the time attacks. It has been a tougher start for some of the big names coming into World Supersport in 2026. Albert Arenas' test began with a crash at turn 11 and a visit to the medical centre. It did end in more positive circumstances in P9, but still room for improvement for the 2020 Moto3 champion. It was an even bigger struggle for Dominic Egerter, nowhere on the timesheet on his Kawasaki debut. Teammate Jeremy Alcoba also faced early issues at the island, with the silver lining of a single fast lap time on day 2. But the biggest headline is perhaps the fact that the top 21 riders all finished within a second on day 2, meaning that anything can still happen come lights out on Saturday.